Hello everyone. I hope you guys are having a really beautiful day. The sun just came out, so I wanted to come and record this as well. I just finished the trance meditation for this week, and it's so massive. I haven't quite pulled something quite like that. There's a lot of information that came through, but if you are in a lot of information comes through on those, but if you're in a moment of like major shift and transformation, it really felt like the higher self coming in through the center of all being to, in a sense, replace in the physical experience like narrative timelines of the false matrix. Like, it feels huge. And I know that I kept seeing the Saturn symbol, and I was like, Saturn, and then I saw the symbol, and then I was like, I don't know anything about astrology. I think that that's the Saturn symbol, and I just like kept, and then those two things came together. So I know that there's a lot of planet stuff happening. I really believe that this is always a outside representation of what's going on within us. It's all within the self. There's nothing outside of us. These aren't processes that that are forced upon us. But that was another big message of, we perceive things that way, and releasing ourselves from these sort of chains, a lot of self-sovereignty, but just a huge message of codes to assist in this transformation. And it's very physical, a lot of support for the physical body through these changes, because this seems to be an incredibly important time of shift if you're here in this sort of frequency bandwidth with me. So if that's something you might be interested in, you can click on the link below, and I'll link to where you can purchase that. The second thing is, I had this beautiful vision for a sort of 6-week program, and I just started fleshing this out last night. So there'll be more information coming. And if you are interested, sign up for my newsletter, because I'm going to have more information coming tomorrow morning. I'm going to set everything out after this and have all the specifics. But there is going to be a component that is like the trance meditations, and I can't decide if I'll release those every week. I'm going to release them every week, but I can't decide if I'm going to do like a regular one and this solar thread. There's a major, the sun and the magnetism of the earth right now is major. The pole shift and what is being asked of us in terms of seeing outside of the physical reality that we are used to, and releasing the world and forgiving the world, and really stepping into the belief of this solar consciousness, of this higher self being as a possible world, as something that can actually come through us, is massive right now. And you guys know I'm obsessed with solar consciousness and this idea of the sun being like the son of God is us, is one sun, not so much SON, but SUN, and these creator beings that are just this massive eternal consciousness, if you choose. So I think it's gonna be 6 weeks, and so we'll do a different theme every week, and I'm gonna bundle it also, so that it's not just you like purchasing the trance meditation every week, but I'm gonna bundle them, release them every week, and then each week we'll have sort of supplemental materials, like written parts, sort of maybe like journal prompts, or a way for you to engage with it and make it meaningful for what's coming through for you, working with your own intuition and guidance. Because I really find automatic writing to be a huge way that information comes through from us. It bypasses, right? These methods that sort of bypass us thinking too hard about it and questioning ourselves are very powerful. A light code, like a written script, to go along with each of them. And as well, not every week, but if you purchase the bundle, then you'll get your own personalized 1-hour trance meditation that's made just for you, along with the written guidance that comes along with that. That's just for you. That's personal to your life. And then I think at the end, TBD, but at the end of the 6 weeks, everybody who bought the bundle will come together live and do sort of like a culmination live healing. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you're signed up for my newsletter, because I'll have more information there and where you can sign up for that. I still have to set it up in Squarespace. And this all just sort of came to me. So that's the housekeeping. Also, the live sessions are open on my website and all of the regular stuff that's there. But this healing was not a surprise, because this is something that I that I heal in myself every day. But it did come through. This was a strong thing that was coming through, like, as I was falling asleep last night. We all know that's a very powerful sort of liminal space where you can let yourself sort of be receiving information and receiving communication, and really being sort of, your edges kind of blur, and it's easier to sort of tune in and listen. So this was coming, and especially when there's things that are sort of still very closely held, that are painful to heal. That's a powerful time to do healing work, because it's you feel less connected to the pain of it, and you're sort of just like floating around. But this is for opening the hips. And I know YouTube doesn't like us to talk about things that really happen in life. So I won't name it this, but it is for releasing sexual trauma. This is a very real thing that happens to an incredible and disturbing amount of people. And I think it's very important that we talk about it. But it's, even if you haven't experienced sexual assault, there is this sort of energetic correlations to that ring out through dimensions, and physical experience and mental experience and emotional experience, and everyone's experience is valid. And sexual energy is creative energy, and we limit it to this romanticism or this lust, but it's not like that. It's not in its real form. It's running through not just the sacral center, but all of life. It is the process, you can say, of electromagnetism. These two different kinds of life, kinds of force coming together to create this third thing, which is one of the whole thing. So it will focus on that, and however that resonates for you, right? It doesn't have to be anything specific, and this might cover a wide swath of people. So however, if that's something that you feel resonant in your body, in your heart, in your mind at this time, it's also covering a fear of intimacy, creative frustration, and disconnection from like creative force. Or even if you feel like you have all these ideas, you sort of lack the motivation or the belief in your ability to actually bring them through, that spark. So we want to open up that connection. And it is also for, like I was saying before with the trance meditation, it's very, very physical. So inflammation of the soft tissue of the hips, tendinitis, tightness in the ligaments, tightness to the point of sort of snapping over these, bony protrusions in our hips, skeletal support. We really want to get in there, and sort of allow this golden light to move out and dissolve all of whatever it feels like for you that is stuck, that is being held in there in fear and defense. So we really, really want to open that up and invite in the living light. So we'll get into this now, and I'll put timestamps because I went on for a million years, as I always do. So we'll just get into a nice, calm place, taking nice deep breaths in and out of the heart, in and out of the center of all being. A big, big message of this heart connection to the cosmic heart, to the galactic heart, to this heart center of all beingness, down-stepped throughout all dimensional bandwidth reality. Wherever we find ourselves in time and space, we can connect to this eternal heart at all times as we allow it to expand in our awareness for a new way of being. A lot of people talk about the new earth, and it gets really jumbled up in a lot of new age kind of thought, but this is really ascension is real. This is really the way of evolution of the universe, is of consciousness. And when you evolve consciousness and the perceptual space from which you are looking, the physical form that manifests from that place will be different. We have to let go of clinging to it looking like it does now. Let go of your tight hold on what was. Big message of like Saturn. I don't know. You guys can write in the comments about the specifics of this, but the movement of Saturn has something to do with this now. And maybe in Pisces. I'm a Pisces. Maybe that's why I'm getting this information. I don't know. You guys got to help me out with the planets. Remembering you are safe, remembering whatever comes through today is not of your eternal being. All of the things that have happened to us through fear, in fear, of fear, are not of our eternal being, and so they are nothing. They are not of creation. They are not affecting eternity in any way. They are a nightmare. They are a bad dream, but they have no power to hurt us, and they never have. And they have never affected our eternal being. Our eternal being, spirit does not need healing, okay? Yatias non to amtait. Nyan shapor ruim staios nushnakana. Kinato son shamin toron. Hiaya son shaki oya pondo kuyan san shiritis natayak on. Hiaptayos uruhitis doruan sam shanain satayas sotoyo potuana. Even, if you want to get up and move around while you listen to this, if you feel like you got to like bring it around town or like stretch your hips out, if you want to sit on the floor and stretch, if you have a stretching practice while you're listening to this, that might be, if you want to pause and get yourself together and then turn it on, that could be helpful. Frog pose. Don't push yourself. If it's really, really painful, do not push yourself when you're stretching. That's not healthy for you. You could hurt yourself doing that. Don't overextend your body when it doesn't want to move that way, but don't recoil immediately from discomfort. We're also moving into the back of the spine, like the coccyx, this sort of like, I want to say delta, like a river delta. But this triangle, you can't see the back of my body, and I can't turn around in this pyramid, but it is pyramid shaped. Getting into this center of this bottom center of the spine. We want to open that up. Sciatica, if you have sciatica as well, this could be helpful. Yes, nuntu amtaishni kinta kina tantu ruhitis nashna kuntaptaya suntoptapta. Yapta yumta into some shakiti son so itioto korhush. Horuin tapta kunushna kinandisini toyoptain. Hiti si shiriti sakyan. Yanda tiapta oporhitis tai shokinatasna. Yato tapta yatiapta. Yaptia kontoyasi taya shorohisa. Yamtaya toshokinatain. Yaptia soshibia sosian shiki. Yamnyanto sonchapaorohitiatos. Yom tayasni. And if at any point you feel overwhelmed doing this or any other energy work, remember to bring yourself back into your center. You let the vision go, let go of whatever feeling is coming up, whatever's coming up into your awareness, and bring yourself back into the formless, eternal presence. This limitless, formless light beingness, singing light, the beingness of all things. That is what you are. It's impossible to harm you because there is nothing outside of you. There's nothing that is not you. Yamtiato korpisini shansak it. Yantapta shnatan taptait. Yantakinatos, working very, very, very in unity with our earthly mother. and the elementals, these beings within the earth, consciousness beings, they don't need to have physicality. That's not a requirement. Yam tis non duptishnikim sapti snoshnam takinato sumshikini tok omporopish yaptiasna. I am in Colorado in the mountains. I'm getting a strong image of, because the mountain Tava is right here. So I'm getting a strong support from the mountains here. Strong grounding force. Bring that in. Hyayotosun shoko roi pas dayos nosh amnandi. Yandayos nosh aptisna kandayotos nundis. Feel that going down through the hips, down the legs. Yandipayoto yoptoshna tai tipto koropisni. Shamtai sikyan dayotoptiat. Hyatios divine river. Feel that divine river flow, that liquid light flowing through, passing through, coming in through, if it's helpful to you, the crown or above, however you perceive these centers, but flowing in, if it's helpful to you, from the top, that down through, like doing a flush, or if it's helpful to you from the center of all beingness, from the center of your subatomic particles, these quanta, these currents, these waves that you are. Yantos nom tati toya paurupis non tokinai tipiaton shiati. Connecting to the resonant frequency of your highest being. Yayoshon sibitis non doepetiaptas, your most expanded being. Yamtos, the self that knows. The living self that knows, the living God. Hyaptias noshna tatahinam dorupisi. Shoyokim zatayan toptap doru pushnim sip. Yanakorohim das doshi, kinandipta orohim dai. Yan samcharayan, somshakya yapta yaptoyo, yaryapto rohyason, shamtais nondopi koyam siatai, yaptayo rohinam tayotos no shamtahi tayopoyon, oroam tayo sumshakietisi, yaptiaptayo porruipiason chokonsua, yaryaptoapto shamsandan, dayapto shamtayapto yamnya, hyayoro arai, hyayoro arum siam shayasno shnakiandipiat, yoptia yakmion chipiaptia isi chiptiapti, oropoam, tiaptia yusyo yakim nyantopi, hiyayan shayuso suabietato shua, yamnaon yataini, hiapayo shoaroipo yoso shorobi. Kamta kona kiamta ya yusyo tau yatiesho royasa yasho yasinchini. Letting that tension go from the legs. Yaptayo yokim shian santo yimtaita kanata snatu amta. Yamtayo nyamta. Yumchakiatom sayan shoa potokomoro antai shinyasnai. Hiaptaya kunyam niandasi. Hiaptayo shokin sandaptasni. Shansiatia sosh ia yukiam tayasun chodiptoa. Roisiam shain sanayon. Yom shaniam dasnut utum taisopuap. Mantikani nayoto yishi. Yayo son shania sayatias. Yayo shansa kanati amtaya sayati antayo toam naina. Hiam naunam nayana shana. Yayo son shanaya son samdiatayos. Shansiatayos son toyo poan shikiam naina munduam. Arruipi eshonso ishini sansakianiti andayes anshaki anayo poare iriatai. Amnashan san sanum. Andapta oro, andaptai, oro yaptaya tasun chakin, yamdo ambatur, paishukam na yamna asha kyapta oro. Natia son chikini amdaya tori piashana insa kianda iri piata korrupi sin chikin sotoptiat. And I don't talk about this often, but there are imprints of like eras of the earth. And this is coming through very strongly as like divine, feminine, RAPE, of the whole era, of the whole energy, of that whole current of field and role of sovereignty and a powerfulness that isn't like, this is so hard to talk about. Like knowing what it is to be a divine feminine, like to be embodying divine feminine energy, and to be powerful and sovereign and fulfilling certain roles and archetypes that aren't you. To be equal to divine masculine energy is not to pretend to be it, and is not to try to fill those roles and to fill that form from the feminine energy. That this is what we've tried to do, and this is reversal. This is not working. You can't create that way. To hold positions of, like, it's okay that there are different kinds of life. It's okay that there are different, and I'm not talking about bodies. Okay, we're talking about energies. It's okay that there's different bodies can fill different roles at different times, but this is about the deeply, deeply held energy, right? The physical is the very last thing to manifest. So that's never where we're fixing anything. It is a byproduct. The physical manifestation is then the byproduct of the energetic choice, the energetic imprint, the code that is written by the choices. Yanti soncho min datia sonto karuiti soncho kinati kiom diet onto shamitisi. But to say that the feminine energy has not been wounded, has not here in this realm, right? In the world of dreams. It would be a lie to say that this has not been, within our narrative structure, intentionally distorted and hidden, because it has. And this has to be reconciled. And it's in every single body. Because this is an imprint, right? This is coming from an entire era of, this was coming through also in the trance meditation, of these idea of like historical resets that have happened, of revealing what is hidden. There's a lot coming through here for this, and it will echo throughout the timeline. So it's not inclusive to these, because the Egyptian era was like thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So it's not specific to one timeline, and it's not specific to that area. That's an era of the whole globe that is very misunderstood and distorted. And this is about correcting distortions within, and the genetic code in our physical bodies is a historical record of everything that's ever happened since humanity was a thing. So this is just what's coming through to be told, but whatever is coming through for you in whatever era that you are perhaps becoming aware of is what's meant to be coming through for you. And if you would like to share it below, please do. But I was earlier today having connection and feeling very much of like Amarna and this new valley, of this idea of this area I'm in being like this new valley of the sun. Connecting to that, again, connecting to that solar consciousness, connecting to that solar self, connecting to the solar portal within each of our chakras. Let it light the way. Let it become so big in your awareness that there's no room for anything else. This solar, I am seeing it as this giant solar disc in this of the sacral, like the sacral becoming this solar disc. In your awareness, focus on that so much that there's no room, because you can't serve two masters, right? You cannot pay attention to two things at once. We think that we can be doing that, but we're wrong. You can't follow two different opposing sets of rules or thought systems, right? So the more you focus on what is real, which is love, represented as the sun, right? Because everything is representational here. There will be no room for fear, and it is an undoing. That presence of the truth is undoing of the false. within you. It does it on its own. You don't need to be intellectually aware of how that works. You don't need to be intellectually aware that it is like happening. It is of your awareness on a different level of your ego. The ego will never understand this. If you try to use your ego, you're never going to be able to get there. So you got to let that go. You will understand. It might be difficult to try to translate it into ideas and concepts of the world because it's not of the world, right? But that's not necessary for your ownership's not the right word, but like embodiment of it, for it to be yours. You don't have to, the ego is not you. You don't have to use your ego to understand these concepts in order for it to be yours. Okay? So if you feel like there's things you don't understand about all of this work, you do, or else you wouldn't be here connecting with it. It wouldn't make any, it wouldn't find you. You wouldn't have the urge to click on it. It wouldn't be for you. It is for you because you're here. You're not behind. There's not like, it's not a hierarchy. It's not about knowing more, because this is not a world of knowledge, and knowledge is one, and knowledge is of God. It's not something to be used for hierarchy. That is distortion. That is reversal. That's separation. And these are the hidden, this is how the world, this is how the truth is hidden. We must see the mechanism in whatever level of awareness it's coming to you. The process of how it works, unraveling this process of how it works, of how the truth is hidden, undoes it. It's not about the specific stories, right? Because the stories are just echoes of this same process. And as we bring through information in this way, it is coded on so many different levels. It is still the healing. It's not just about the multidimensional tongue tones, the light language. It's in everything you do. When you do it with the intention of loving freedom, everything is coded. Everything you choose in love and expansion is coded in that way. It's not just for some people. It's for all people equally. Everyone has equal capacity. Yanadum chinin. This is what the mother would have us know. Her children are one. There are not some that are better than others. There are not some that are more equipped to represent her, to speak with her voice. It's for everyone to speak with her voice, because she is what you are made out of on this earth. She doesn't belong to anyone and not others. There are no certain people who are better credentialed. This is a consensus situation. We all must see each other equally. It's not a trope. It's not a cliche. It is what must happen here. And this is foundational. And this is the work that I think is most important. And that's why I do it this way. It's not, you can get to the core of it and push it out from within. You don't have to go around and around like an onion to get to the center. Put yourself in the center and expand outwards. You don't have to go through understanding all of these layers of story that are still not your truth. Find your truth and expand it outward to see from the center of truth that all that's being held around it is illusion, and it goes away. And it disappears. You don't need to try to understand it. You don't need to have visions of every life that anyone has ever lived. We know what hell is. We live here. We've made it up. We made it. You don't need to see more of fear to understand what it is. You know here. Don't hide anything, but don't look for yourself there because you'll never find it. You are not the story. You are not what has happened to you. And I want to talk real quick about repressed memories and not trusting yourself and not believing yourself for things that might have happened to you. Trust yourself. Believe yourself. If it's something that's coming up to be cleared in your awareness, don't doubt it to the point of not letting it come up to be healed. It doesn't matter if you can pinpoint the exact memory. If that's what wanted to happen, if that's what your higher self wanted to happen, it would happen. Your higher self is never going to re-traumatize you or show you something that you are not needing to see. So if you beg for that kind of information, you're going to be in pain. Listen to your guidance about being free now, about everything that's happened in the world of dreams being illusion. This is not bypassing. This is realizing how this world was made and what the world is. The world is not real. Do not reinforce stories of illusions to keep it in your awareness, to keep the looping timelines happening. Let them go. They are nothing. They are nothing, and they are no reflection in any way on what the truth of your being is, except what is created in love, which is eternal. And that will always remain. Yanayisan sumtahinan yisnan dayas unchakar rohit. So rohishi, let it go, let it go. If you gotta squirm around, squirm around. Let yourself do what you feel like you gotta do. Hyatias noruitiatas, shayo sonchi. If it's helpful to you to imagine yourself, and you might even see yourself from outside of yourself. You know, you might not be perceiving yourself to be in your body, you might see your body outside of yourself. If you want to imagine, like what's coming to me right now in my vision is like being on this perfect sort of white stone altar and the body healing from this like crystalline structure and it's like, you know, vibrating because everything is movement, and it's like shaking up in black smoke all that's being held around the sort of pelvis area. If you can imagine that for yourself as well, if it's helpful. It might be red smoke. Yanayinium toruisnum tushnikin sinto epatiat oruhin sikian. Yamnayo tushon sam tayas nor. Yumsut oruhin diaconium tahin. Yayos oshipi kiation sum shanta. Yayot oruipis yam tayak iarit. Hilion sum shantiap tai. Yap tiap tiap. Hyuptoshna kim tiupnoshna. Yep, dorokin. Kinan dosno shnoropis. And you might even feel yourself, this image comes through to me a lot. Sort of almost like snaking yourself out of like a wetsuit. Yanan dorohinin diopi. Hyoto sonchon tipayo kunotum taita. Hyoto sonchak porokina ti. Kyatas no shibi kyoto konibi sonjo kunim na rohidies no yayoshon so io rohitis doropin. Nato somshon kombo am tokina. Okay. think we're gonna bring it to a close here. If this is a healing that you feel very resonant with, there are other videos on the channel about this topic and on my website, and we'll do many more in the future because this is huge. And if you need specific support with this, I am personally, I have a lot of personal experience clearing this from myself and with this. So don't, if it feels resonant with you, you can feel very comfortable to reach out. So just bringing yourself back into this moment of self. Be very gentle with yourself. Remember to bless all that you come in contact with, all that you ingest in whatever way that is, all that you offer. Forgive yourself. Understand that you are not anything that has happened to you in this world of dreams. You're not your past. You are very safe. You are love itself and also incredibly loved. You are overwhelmingly loved. We are not ready to accept the level at which we are loved, but that is what the work is. Remind yourself how loved you are. Ask God how loved you are. And then be willing to receive what that is. Because that is the ultimate healing. That is what healing is. Okay. I love you all very much. Thank you for joining me here, and I'll see you guys next time.